So a couple of weeks ago, I taught you some really mean English phrases that I said you should never use. And I thought today, in order to balance things out a bit, I should teach you some happy phrases, some nice phrases. So in this English lesson, I'll teach you 10 happy, nice, awesome English phrases that you would certainly be happy to hear if someone said them to you. The first nice English phrase I want to teach you is one that you might hear at a restaurant, and it's the phrase, "It's on the house." This means the restaurant is going to give you something for free. Let's say you went out to eat and it actually took a little longer than you were expecting for the food to come, and you were maybe a little bit annoyed, but the food was still really yummy. The restaurant, in order to make sure you're happy, might say, "Hey, pick something out off of the dessert menu, it's on the house." When they say it's on the house, it means that they're going to give you dessert for free. That would certainly be awesome, and it would certainly be a really cool English phrase to hear when you're at a restaurant. I think everybody likes getting something for free. The next really nice phrase to hear is the phrase, "You're approved." This is a phrase you will most likely hear at a bank when you're applying for a loan. Maybe you want to buy a car or you want to buy a house and you want to borrow money from the bank. You'll fill out forms and submit a whole bunch of details, and then you're hoping the bank will call and say to you, "You're approved." When they say you're approved, it means everything's okay, everything looks great, you're going to be able to borrow the money, you're going to be able to buy that car or buy that house. Certainly that would be a really cool thing to hear when you want to do one of those two things. The next really nice phrase to hear, or phrases actually, are the phrases "I made it" or "we made it." Sometimes someone you know will go on a trip and they'll go far away, and when they get there they might phone you or text you and say, "I made it," or if it's more than one person, they'll say, "We made it." It's always nice to know when someone goes on a trip and when they arrive at their destination. So you might be worried about, did they make their flight? Did they get there on time? Did they arrive at the place that they are going to? And when you get that text or you get that phone call and you hear them say, "I made it" or "we made it," it just makes you feel good because you know that they got to where they were going. The next really nice English phrase is something your boss might say to you at work, and it's the phrase, "You can go home early." This is probably one of my favorite English phrases. When you have a job, you need to arrive at a certain time and you can go home at a certain time, but sometimes all of the work is done, or sometimes your boss is just feeling really, really nice that day, and they might say, "You can go home early." And I think you totally understand what this means. It means that you can pack up your stuff and you can go home an hour or two earlier than you normally do. That is a great phrase to hear and a great thing to have happen during your day. The next English phrase that's really nice to hear or read is the phrase, "You passed." Maybe you took an English test and you're waiting for the results. You want to know if you passed the test or if you failed the test. And then you get an email from the testing company and you open it and it says, "You passed." This would be a great English phrase to read. It would just be so nice, wouldn't it, to think you've studied for so long, you took a test, and now you get to read this really nice English phrase, "You passed." Good job, by the way. The next really nice English phrase that someone might say to you is the phrase, "It's already done," or "I did it for you." Sometimes after a long day at work, I know that there's some chores I need to do around the house. But if I come home and if Jen says, "It's already done," or "I did it for you," that makes me really, really happy. I know one day I knew that when I came home, I had to pay a lot of bills. I needed to go online and pay a bunch of bills using the computer and online banking. And when I got home, Jen said, "It's already done. I did it for you." That made me really, really happy. When someone does some work for you and then tells you about it, that's certainly a good thing to hear during your day. Another phrase that's really nice to hear in English is the phrase, "We'd like to offer you a position," or informally, "You got the job." Maybe there was a job that you really, really wanted. Maybe your current job isn't very nice, and so you applied for the job. You went for an interview, and now you're waiting to hear back from them. When you get that phone call and when they say, "Hello, we'd like to offer you a position in our company," or again, informally, they might just say, "Hey, you got the job," you are going to be very, very happy. That is a great phrase to hear. It's one of the phrases that can even be a little bit life-changing. Another really nice English phrase is one you'll hear from your doctor, and it's the phrase, "Your test came back negative." This is something that would make you feel relieved as well as happy. Maybe you haven't been feeling well and your doctor did a test to see if it was something serious. When the doctor says your test came back negative, that is certainly going to be good news, and that will be a good day for you. Our local coffee shop is having a contest right now, and they do it with an app that you have on your phone. So when you buy a coffee or a sandwich from the coffee shop, sometimes the app says you won. When you read the phrase you won, or when you hear the phrase you won, this certainly will make you happy. Everyone loves winning stuff. Everyone loves getting something for free. So another phrase that definitely is a nice phrase to hear in English is the phrase you won. I'm going to let you try and guess this last phrase, but I'll give you a couple of hints. It starts with the word I and it ends with the word you, and there's only one word in the middle. And I think it's the phrase that people love hearing the most. Oh, I just used the word there, didn't I? It's the phrase, I love you. Whether it's a child saying to a parent, I love you, or a grandparent saying to a grandchild, I love you, or partners in a relationship saying, I love you to each other. This is a phrase that I think we as human beings, first of all, don't say enough, and second of all, I think we really, really like hearing it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this lesson about happy, nice phrases that you can say in English. Remember, if this is your first time here, don't forget to click that red subscribe button over there and give me a thumbs up if this video helped you learn a little bit more English. And once again, if you have the time, why don't you stick around and watch another English lesson.